Hello everybody and welcome to this episode of Let's Build a Spooky House. Today is the final episode and I'm so excited because that means that we can finally get on to actually playing with some of the Sims. At the time of this recording, I will be doing, on the day of this recording, and the day it comes out, I will be doing a live stream later today at 5 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So, come join me if you're there on that day. I'd really love to see you guys or hear from you. And we'll be playing with one of our little families. One of the reasons why I've built this house, this big old monstrosity here, is so that I could have a little family of creepy people to play with. And this might just be the beginning of a bunch of other similar projects. I'm gonna try to hold off on spoiling too much there because if I tell you, I might not end up doing it. And I don't want that to happen. Yes, so later today we're going to be looking at some of one of the families I've made. And it's probably going to be in a totally different part of town. But it's important because it will build up to this house. Eventually, you'll see, I think. So here I'm trying to make a little puppet theater for kids to play with. I think that would be like a ton of fun. And you'll see it in a little bit, but I tried to make it kind of resemble an actual real life theater. Eventually I'll get around to that. Yeah, so here's this couch over here. I made a little proscenium type stage, and it's like, would a fireplace work better over here? And I was like, nah, I want the puppet stage. And yeah, I was testing out different types of couches because I wanted there to be space for people to sit down, and enjoy. So here I am picking out the curtains. They ended up pretty cool. I think I chose the black and red ones towards the end. And right now you see these little dumbbell types of lights. What I was trying to do with those is recreate what's known as the flies in a theater. And gosh, you guys probably already know this, but in a theater there's, of course, you've got the curtains on either side of the stage, but above that there's a bunch of pulleys and things like that, and sometimes there'll even be backdrops and even people, and there's this complex system of pulleys and lights, and they're all up in the ceiling. So a lot of times that's why theaters are really tall, because they're trying to hold all of that stuff. And you only see a small portion of that. So yeah, adding some more stuff to this room. I wasn't really sure what I wanted out of it. There's a lot of little things that I wanted to add, but yeah. Trying to remember. Oh yeah, I was trying to make sure that the little birch tree decals would stick out. I like those. I like those little trees. And of course I was like, okay, how do I make this look like... I don't want stuff to look like a rectangle. I mean, with just things around the corners. I want it to look like it's actually lived in and used. That's kind of difficult here. I don't know if I ended up keeping this little card table up here, because I can't quite remember. It's been a few days since I did this. I've been working on some other things in the meantime, trying to get prepared and all that good stuff. Yeah, so this section here happened over the course of several days, and in total it took me 5.5 hours to do this section. This stretch of video here. That's not including editing, of course. That always, Sims 4 editing isn't as bad, especially with build projects, because it's pretty much just time lapses. And those are relatively easy to do. You've got to wait for things to kind of render before you do that, because the program I use doesn't really like sped up things very much. It tends to lag. It tends to lag if there's a bunch of clips. So I thought about having a pumpkin carving station. I don't know if I kept that either, because I thought it might be fun, but then again, the thought of little kids with knives is a bit scary. I don't know. I carved a pumpkin when I was 7. And I was okay, but for a toddler, I don't know. Bunch of really cool objects added with the vampires expansion. It's probably one of my favorites. I always love vampires in games. I don't know why. Doesn't make sense to me. It just is. It's like, do I have just a little ottoman in there? I don't know. And I added a few more trees, because, it's kind of cool. It's like, what do I put over there? I want there to be a picture of some kind, so that, it's kind of sentimental, so someone can think of home. Because this is kind of a guest bedroom-y room. And as you can see, it's much lighter than the rest of the house. It's like, no, not good, not good, not good enough. Bunch of pictures and stuff like that. Ah, yes, and this floor up here became a ballroom. I don't know if I told you guys this, but when I was really little, I lived in a great big house. It was a very old house, and it had like 3 stories. So it was a lot of work, and it's had a ballroom. This top floor is the attic. I don't really remember much of it. A lot of what I remember, I kind of gleaned from pictures. Your memory tends to be kind of faulty anyway, especially when you're really little. But yeah, this room's the attic, and at first I was kind of unsure of what I was going to do with it. I thought, okay, attic, store pieces of junk up there. And so what this ended up turning out to be was a bit of a room for random junk and a bit of a playground. I don't know. So ended up putting monkey bars in here and some yoga mats and a punching bag. I don't know. It's like, what do I put over here? What do I put over there? I like that old camera. And of course, a lot of this time was spent adding cobwebs and little thingies, and I added a little Katrina doll. Because why not? Why not? Just in the corner, just one on each floor, pretty much, just to kind of watch over things. Your little, they aren't regular just Katrinas, they're guardian Katrinas, I guess. I don't know. And this little Grim Reaper gnome. So the really tough thing about this room was trying to make it look disused and yeah, kind of crummy, but also have some sort of function with it. And because I had the monkey bars inside, I decided to remove the monkey bars that were outside, and then I was like, okay, what am I going to put in this space then? And I went with that tree. Because why not? Yeah, and I was thinking about what do I do with these gargoyles and stuff like that. Should I add these fountains? The fountains were pretty cool. I mean, I wanted to have them. The problem with them is that they kind of stick through the ceiling a little bit. I don't like it to clip through like that. But maybe I'll add it to the outside. Wasn't doing it for me outside. So there's just one above the bathroom. So when you walk out, you can just totally freak out. And I had to add a fire extinguisher somewhere. Just so. I mean, they're fireplaces. I've learned my lesson. If there is a fire, I don't want a fire. If there's a fire, I don't want it. No fires, please. And so yeah, like what else am I gonna do with the space? Fountain doesn't make sense. That just no fountains.
You gave him his...
Yeah, I gave the dog his medicine. I love you, Mom. Yeah, I gave my dog his flea and tick medicine and his heartworm pill, so that way he doesn't get sick. Because you don't want a sick puppy and you have to give it to them every month. Yeah, so I decided that this ballroom would be kind of yellowy. And so since it's more of a formal room, it's got some fancier wallpaper. As for floor tiles, that took a while to pick the right one, but I think I ended up just going with regular wood. I mean, wood looks good. And yeah, so there's this dance floor up here. You can't have a ballroom without a dance floor. It's like, do I make it this lighty up thingy? And well, it looks kind of cool, but then again, it doesn't really fit. What about an organ? Organ doesn't really go with this place. Or it goes with this place, but it doesn't go with this room specifically. So yeah, ended up going with the marble. I think I ultimately decided to move the marble to the rear part of the house there, because I wanted to have a little bar area for the Sims to go and just chat and get some plasma nectar and stuff like that. And of course, you can't really have a ballroom without some kind of musician, so you've got to have a piano there. And adding a couple of chairs. And yeah, some vases. And some little potted plants. I wanted to be sure to get a plant that added to the environment. I wish all plants and little decorations like that added to the environment, and maybe some people don't really like how it just makes the Sims happy and then go to sad, moving from room to room. But I think that maybe if all the bits of things added to it, but then overall you needed more decoration to make that big of an impact, maybe that would work. I don't know. I'm not a game designer. And here I was adding some extra rooms towards the sides, because I figured, well, if you're going to be dancing and if you're going to be drinking, you probably need a bathroom. Gosh, I'm sorry, I'm sniffling. Stupid allergies. And then I ran into another problem, because this area is kind of narrow and I wanted plenty of room for a bathroom and to put a couple of bedrooms in here too. I was able to put like 3 on the floor below. I wanted to do the same thing up here. But yeah, there's admittedly less space to work with because there's not a big master bedroom. So yeah, I think I'm getting better at laying out bathrooms because they're way less confusing to me now. I know, what is a bathroom? How does it work? Bathrooms are confusing, even though I've lived with indoor plumbing my entire life. But yeah, it's hard to get a good layout that kind of uses all the space in a way that's not stupid. And that's another thing too. I like things to be used, but I don't want them to be cluttered. And it's always kind of a struggle to make something that doesn't look cluttered but looks full, like it's not totally empty and devoid of anything. I put a couple speakers in the ballroom just because I wanted to make sure there was some kind of music playing. I don't know if the Sims will dance to piano music, so that's why I put those in there. I was like, what am I going to put behind the bar, though? And how do I get these speakers to look like they make sense? Like they're a part of the architecture, not just there to get on my nerves. I don't know. So on the right side here, you can see that those couple of windows and stuff, those ended up being a couple of different bedrooms, and I don't know why I forgot to get rid of this pause because I was away doing something else. I don't know. But anyway, that's more time for us to just sit down and chat, right? So, so there ended up being 2 bedrooms here in this little part. And on the other side, I ended up putting in a bedroom and a sort of TV slash computer room. It's the only TV there is in there because I didn't want a bunch of TVs. I didn't want them to not have any technology at all because I think that would be, I don't know. Your Sims kind of need computers. And I wouldn't want them to be without something that they kind of need. But, so I didn't want a whole bunch of TVs all over the place, though, because that's what the Sims like to do. They like to sit down and watch it. And it's like, no, get away from that idiot box. Improve your skills. Don't waste your time. I mean, the same could be said for me, honestly. Yep, that was what I was trying to do. And as you probably can tell, these rooms ended up being quite a bit smaller, just because I wanted to be sure there were plenty of rooms. And this one up here has a little fireplace. I was like, do I put a chair right there? Yeah. I made a little hallway there just so there's a bit of privacy. I'm gonna step away from the microphone for a bit. I've got some sniffles I've got to take care of. Okay, I should be better now. Hope that I might just delete that part. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't want to do that. Sometimes you've got overwhelming sniffles. At least I do. In this room, I thought about creating like an older relative to stay in this room. Just kind of like an Uncle Fester or something like that. And yeah, I thought that would be pretty neat. I like how the candles don't really light up the place too much. Then I tried to put down a spider, and I wanted to make sure that the spider was there, but you'd have to, yeah, like how you just see the eyes first, and then you see the rest of it. It's like, oh, and it's, oh no, it's gonna get me, it's gonna eat me, it's gonna steal my brains, because that's what spiders do, right? They steal your brains, and then they turn you into bone paste for their bread and stuff. That's what they do, right? I don't know. I'm not a Scientologist. I don't know. And here I had the idea of putting a couple of masks around the place. 'Cause, you know, why not? Oh gosh. Sniffles, nose, would you stop it? Would you just stop? Would you stop being stuffy? Because you are really getting on my nerves right now. I mean, I like you, nose, but sometimes you just make it impossible to deal with, and then I end up sounding, I don't know, like some kind of gigantic, gross person because of you. Stop it, nose. Just stop. I'm at my breaking point here. You're driving me nuts. Can't take it. Ah! Yeah, and these are some lights and stuff that are dotted around, or they're just around this part right here, because I don't know. Felt like one of those areas that needed a little bit of attention drawn to it. There's a little rug. You might be wondering, why do you use that rug so much? It's because it adds to the environment, okay? That's the bad thing about not having an environment attribute, being added to all of them, is that only some will work. And so then you stop using some of the pretty ones because they aren't incentivized. Which was different from The Sims 3 because most of them added something to the area. And you could have a good-looking home that was that was still modest in price. And I think that's true of a lot of things. You can have a good-looking spot if you just put in a little effort. Rugs don't get in the environment, but toilet paper does. I don't get it. I don't think I kept this fireplace in this room, but I did get some bookcases because this looked like a perfect spot for another little private study where you could just kick back, get away from other people, and read. So, yeah, there's a lot of, wanted to make sure it was very book-y, lots of little books, lots of things laying around. So it would look lived in and like somebody who does a lot of reading. Did I keep that tapestry in there? Yeah. And I added a rug. I like that rug. I like these. So yeah, this room in here ended up becoming, well, no, it didn't become a bedroom. It ended up becoming the thingy I mentioned earlier where you could just study. Well, one of them was a bedroom. That one. Can I fit this? Nope, I couldn't fit the really creepy candelabra. It's not a chandelier, it's a candelabra on the fireplace in the other room. And I thought maybe I'll put a fireplace in this room, but I didn't because it wouldn't fit. Also tried a fireplace in that room, but it became the computer slash TV watching room sort of hangout place. And as such, it is kind of getting close to the end here, and we're almost done, so I'm excited. Woo! Almost complete. So I wanted this room to be purple at first, but I switched to green because we already had a purple common area downstairs. A lot of the rooms that I make are, I think, driven mostly by practicality. It might not look like it, but I want there to be a purpose for every single room that I make. Because, I don't know, there's nothing worse than having a nice looking room that your Sims are never in because they don't have anything to do in there. We're almost finished. And we're almost done. Anyway, that's really bad. So yeah, I want to thank you guys so much for watching so far and for putting up with me and all my stuffy noseness. And if you like the video, please don't forget to leave a like or a comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Okay, first I've got to overlook. There we go. Give it a spin. Make sure those are okay. And yeah.